guys, today I have a new Australian indie brand to try out with you guys. I haven't tried anything from this brand before, but I have seen a couple of reviews on this brand and they have been mostly positive, so I'm very excited to be testing this out. I was sent this by the brand, but I've been eyeing this brand for quite a long time now, and this is Lucky Bunny Cosmetics. Like I said, this is an Australian indie brand, and what's so cool about this is that they have this series that they started with their palettes where they do one palette for each of the 7 deadly sins. So the one that they just came out with is called the Gluttony palette, and that is the one that we are going to be testing out today. So this is what the palette looks like. It is a beautiful, beautiful green and blue and kind of oceany color story with a couple of neutrals thrown in there. I think this is so inspiring and just so fun. They also have a, what is it, the Greed and the Envy palette, I think, that are already out. It is a purple palette, and then the other one is a green palette, and those look really, really nice as well. So like I said, they did send me this. They also gave me a code. Obviously I haven't tried this yet, but if I end up liking this, I will tell you what my code is at the end. So let's go ahead and just, I don't know, let's go ahead and just test this out. Let's start off by doing some swatches though, because I always like to touch my shadows a little bit before I dig into them and put them on my eyes. So this palette retails for $25 roughly USD. It's 35, I think, Australian dollars. This palette has 7 shimmers, 1 satin, and 4 mattes from what I gathered after swatching it. And it swatched okay. There were a couple of shadows that didn't swatch amazingly, but swatches don't tell the whole story anyway, but I do like to just kind of put my fingers into them. So formula-wise, I would say that there aren't really any like special shades. It's basically mattes and shimmers with 1 satin thrown in there. And if you know me, you know that I don't like satin, so I'm not really all about that dark blue satin shade, but I am glad that there is a dark blue matte to go along with that, because that is the one that I want to use. So we're just gonna go ahead and get straight into this because I just want to put these on my eyes. I want to see what they're all about. I'm gonna start by priming with my Smashbox Lid Primer in Light. Also, I do want to just mention the lipstick that I'm wearing, because Lethal Cosmetics sent over their new lipsticks. They sent over 2 for me. They sent over this one. This one is called Quest. This is a beautiful orange, not the one I'm wearing today, but I wanted to show you still because these are so beautiful. They're very much a creamy lipstick when they go on, but they do dry down to more of a matte finish, but it's not smudge proof at all, so it is going to transfer. But these are really, really comfortable, and the one I'm wearing today is the shade Rome. This is a very cool tone nude on me, and I absolutely love this color. It is so, so beautiful. The packaging on these are absolutely stunning. It has a magnetic closure, which, I mean, I think we all can appreciate a magnetic closure because it makes the lipstick just feel so much more luxurious. And Lethal actually gave me a code. It's not an affiliate code, but I am just so happy to have a code with them because they haven't had codes, I think, ever. So I have a code now, and it's Annette, and it will save you 10% off your order if you want to order anything from Lethal at any time. Like I said, it's not affiliated. I don't make anything from that, but it will save you some money if you do want to pick up anything. So let me go ahead and just kind of clean off my arm here a little bit, and then we're gonna try out this palette. So let's take a look at this. This palette, by the way, is very lightweight. It doesn't have a lot of like weightedness to it. Like, it's just very lightweight. So when I got the package, I wasn't really sure what was in it because it didn't feel like it was a package because of just how light it was. It also does not have a mirror in it. It's just the palette itself in a very lightweight cardboard packaging. I just thought I would mention it. This shadow right here just did not swatch very good, so I'm definitely not going to use that. I'm kind of happy it's the brown though, because I just don't really care for browns anyway, but I did want to mention it. I think I'm going to be using, I definitely want to use this pink because I feel like having that in my inner corner maybe. I think that could be kind of fun. I also want to play with the dark blue, definitely. Maybe this one, maybe I'll do these 2 in my crease. And then we'll kind of take it from there and see what it is that I want to do. I feel like that's kind of a good starting point. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to start with the darkest shade actually, which is called Lexi. I did notice when I swatched these shadows that they kind of stuck on my finger after I'd wiped them off. So that's probably a good thing. It might mean that they're going to stain a little bit, but it also means that they're going to stick to the eye, which is nice. So I'm just placing this in the outer corner of my eye to begin with here. And this is very, very nice and pigmented. It's going on very nicely. The real test is going to be once we start blending and doing stuff with it. So I'm just packing this on in the outer portion, and I'm gonna gently start blending this through my crease. And then I'm gonna take the other lighter shade and kind of blend this out with. I like using dark blues as my first shade because they do have a tendency to get a little bit patchy if you try to build on them too much. So I'm just kind of playing it safe because I just don't want that to happen. Maybe I pulled this up a little bit too high in the inner corner, but it's fine. I'm just gonna pull it up a little bit higher all the way across here. I really like the color of this. This is such a beautiful, beautiful blue. Oh, I could see myself just doing like a smoky eye with this one all over the lid and just blending it out and popping something in the inner corner. That would be so easy and so cool. Did I pull this up too high? Probably. Am I gonna have room for another shadow? I'm not sure, but we're gonna try anyway. But let me just go ahead and finish off with this eye instead. I'm probably gonna do something else under my eye just because I do want to test out more of these shadows. Let me know if you want me to do more looks with this palette. I cannot promise anything because I just need to see kind of what else comes in and what's going to take priority. But if I have time and you guys really want to see it, maybe I can do some more looks with this. Maybe I can pull this into a palette bingo or something. I haven't done a palette bingo in what feels like forever. So maybe what I'll do is I'll pull out like 5 of my newest palettes and do a multi-palette bingo. Is that something you maybe want to see? Let me know. I mean, you can't tell me this does not look amazing because the pigmentation on the shadow is insane. So I think, did I say I was going to use this shade to blend it out with? I'm thinking now maybe I'll use this one because it's a little bit lighter. Maybe these two are a little bit too similar to be used to like be blended out with. I'm gonna grab this shade, which is called Amira. Gonna tap this off a little bit because I don't want a lot of this. I just want this to be kind of the helper to blend the shadow out with. So I'm just gonna go over the edge here, just using very, very small circular motions here, just to get a little bit of a tint of this color and just help with the blend. This one also seems to be very pigmented, even though I am going in very lightly. So far, I'm very impressed with these shadows. And like I said, I have seen some very good reviews on this brand, so I'm not really surprised because a lot of the people that I trust have spoken very highly of their shadows. And so far, I gotta say, I really like them. I didn't do the best job on the blend here on the inner corner, but maybe it's just one of those days. I'm sure we all have them. So I'm gonna pull the shadow up quite high here as I go to blend this out. There also is not a lot of kick up in the pan here. I'm not having any kind of fallout at all. And I really have not been tapping off my brush because I prefer to go in with a bit of a heavier hand. I know that's probably a very unpopular opinion. I feel like most people like to build up slowly, but I just want to slap as much color on my eyes as quickly as I possibly can. So this is working out very well for me so far. And I know I took these shadows up very high, but it's fine because as soon as I go in with some kind of a brow bone highlight, that's going to all come together. Do I even need to go back in with that blue? I think I am, but let's see if I want to do anything else underneath my eye here. I'm thinking I'll just use the matte that I haven't used yet, so I'm gonna grab this one and just smudge this underneath my eye. This one is the one called Josie, and this way I've used all of the exciting mattes except for the brown. Maybe if I do another look, I will try to incorporate that brown into my look. This is a beautiful color. That is so pretty. And I love that I can see the difference on my eyes in all of these shades. I'm not sure how well you can see it on camera, but I can see a very clear difference between this shadow and the one I used under my eye, as well as the crease shade. So that's always a good thing when you have 3 kind of bluey greeny shades in the palette. Okay, let me go back in with the crease shade just one more time to make sure that the blend in my crease is where I want it to be here. And then we're gonna play with some of these shimmer shades. Like I said earlier, I don't feel like any of these shimmers are like anything special. They seem to be just pretty basic shimmers. So hopefully with some glitter glue, we'll be able to get the best out of these and get them to be nice and shiny. Just gonna take a little bit more of this blue on the outer corner of this eye because I brought it very far in on the other side. So I just want to kind of make sure I do the same on this one before I go in with the shimmers. So I mean, that blue is just so beautiful. I can't get over it. Let's see, what do I want to do on my lid? I definitely have some options. I know I said I wanted to use the kind of pinky purpley lavender shade. So maybe I'll do that along with one of these blues. Is that what I want to do? I mean, those would look pretty nice together. So maybe that's what I'm going to do. So I'm probably going to do, I mean, that's really beautiful. This is really pretty too. I would like something a little bit darker just on the outer edge here to blend it into the matte. So maybe I'll use these two shades on my lid, and then I'll take a little bit of this one on the front portion of my lower lash line. I think that could be kind of fun. So let me go ahead and put down some glitter primer. So I am gonna do this in a bit of a cut creasy shape here because I do want there to be kind of a sharp line. I feel like maybe I should have done an actual cut crease here because I did go in very heavily with that blue. I'm hoping that the pink shade is going to cover it up, but I guess this is a good way of seeing just how opaque these shimmers are going to be. Maybe I didn't make this into as sharp of a line as I wanted to in my crease because I didn't use a very stiff brush to do it with, but we're just gonna go in with the shimmers and we'll finesse it from there. So now that I have my glitter primer down, let's first go in with the shade here called Harmony, which is this one in the bottom left. Just gonna grab that on the same brush here and see what happens. First, just gonna place this in the middle of my lid and then work on blending it outwards. And I am placing it in a bit of a diagonal here because I just like doing that with my shimmers. I find that to be just the most flattering on my eye. So like I was saying, I don't feel like these shimmers are really anything spectacular. They are shiny, but they don't have any kind of glitters added to them or really anything that would make them stand out with all of the other beautiful shimmers that I have in other palettes. So I definitely think I'm going to be preferring the mattes over the shimmers from this brand, at least so far. All right, let's go in with the lavender shade here. This one is called Sky. They are quite hard pressed into the pan and it's a little bit hard to pick them up, but you just have to kind of dig your brush in there a little bit. So let me see what I can make out of this shadow. Just gonna place that in the front portion and blend it into the blue. Again, the same kind of formula, it's just a shimmer. It really isn't even like that shimmery. Maybe I will top this with something else after because it's not really doing it for me if I'm being completely honest. It's a little bit flat for my liking. But if you're someone who don't like very intense shimmers and you like something maybe a little bit more toned down and wearable, maybe you don't like shimmers that accentuate any kind of texture on your lid, then I think you would really like these kind of shimmers. But I really like the color combination of these. I think that looks so good. So let me go ahead and finish off by taking the shade here called Aspen. And I'm gonna go ahead and spray this a little bit here just so we don't get any kind of fallout. And I'm gonna place that in the front portion of my lower lash line. I feel like maybe I should have sprayed the shadow that I put on my lid as well. Maybe that would have brought it out even more because I don't really feel like my glitter primer did the best job at really making these shadows shine. I feel like this formula reminds me a lot of the formula from OMFG Cosmetics. If you guys have tried them, they also have really, really nice mattes and their shimmers are kind of similar. And this palette, actually, now that I look at it and I look at these colors together, it reminds me so much of a discontinued blush tribe palette. I will show you when I'm done with my eyes. I'm gonna go off camera, just finish off. I'm gonna probably blend a little bit extra just on the edges here, do some liner and mascara, all that jazz, and I'll come back and show you the look and I'll show you what this palette reminds me of because I feel like they're going to be almost dupes. So I just now realized, it's like the next day, I just realized that I totally forgot to even like do this, but this is the palette that I was talking about. This is the Hasina 2 palette from Blush Tribe. Let me show you them side by side. So here is what the Lucky Bunny palette looks like. This is in natural daylight, obviously in the sun here, and then we have the Hasina 2 palette. This is also such a blue and green palette, and I just thought that some of the tones in here just reminded me so much of each other, and just like the color story and the shimmer shades, like the shimmer shades especially, like the blues and those lavenders and purples, like these palettes are kind of similar. Like if this palette had fewer shades, I feel like these would like almost be dupes, even though this one has more variety in like colors obviously, but it still has very similar tones in it. Anyway, let me go ahead and show you the look. Alright, so here is the final look. As you can tell, I did a lot of stuff off camera because my camera shut off and I started playing music and I just kind of got in the mood and I just went a little crazy. So let me tell you what I did. I decided to do a bit of like a graphic subtle liner in my crease here, and I used, which one did I use? I think it was this one. This one is Ox from Lethal. It's one of their gel liners. These are so nice and creamy that you can actually use them to do like kind of detail work, and I love that about them. In my waterline, I used another one of the Lethal eyeliners, and this one is in the shade Analog. And then for my blush, I went in with two different ones because I didn't like the first one I used. I tried to use this one from Kevin O'Quan. This is in the shade Grapevine, and I just didn't feel like it really suited my skin. It was a little bit too cool tone. I feel like with this hair color, like not that many blushes are going to look good, and I feel like I didn't have that problem last time I had red hair. So I don't really know, maybe this is just like so yellow tone that some of the face products that I used to like and that used to suit me just don't really suit me when I have this hair color. So I went over it a little bit with the Cover FX Monochromatic Blush Duo in Pink Dahlia. I used the shade right here. And then for my highlighter, I used one of the Bitter Lace Beauty highlighters from the Candy Coated collection, I think this is called. This is the pink one. It's in the shade Cupcake Crush. Oh, I just love this highlighter. Isn't that so beautiful? It's one of my absolute favorites. And these highlighters just smell so good. They smell like candy. I just love them. And just to finish off for my inner corner, I grabbed another one of my Bitter Lace Beauty highlighters. This is the Rainbow highlighter. You probably cannot see that these are different depending on like the lighting, but there's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or four different colors in here, and I can tell what they are when I look at it up close. So I dipped into the yellow portion and I just tapped a little bit of that in my inner corner. So that is how I finished off my look. I'm still just wearing that same lipstick that I wore in the beginning because I don't know, I feel like it goes with the look and I don't feel like changing, and I really like it. So yeah, that's going to be the look. Let's talk a little bit more about this palette. So far I would say that my experience with this is very positive. I didn't have any problems with any of the shadows. I thought that they all performed very well. I mean, they do what they're supposed to do. Like, they're not trying to be anything extra, especially the shimmers. Like, the shimmers are just shimmers, you know? They're not advertised to be some crazy multi-chrome with like extra dimensional sparkles and like, you know, they're just shimmers. Like, they're fine. I do wish that they were maybe a little bit more intense, but again, just personal preference. I think the mattes performed like a dream. I had a really good time working with them. I'm very happy to have this palette. If you guys want to pick up this palette, like I said, I'll tell you my code now. It's Annette10. It'll save you 10% off. It is an affiliate code, meaning I do make a commission if you do use my code, but I'm at least comfortable enough to letting you know that I do have a code now. If this is something that looks like you might like, you would probably like it. And it would also make you support a small Australian indie brand. So that's always a good thing. So thank you so much for watching this video. As always, if you want to see some other first impression videos that I have on my channel, here's my playlist. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.